Well, a lot is being made of the president's rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma this past weekend after just over 6,000 people showed up inside the arena that holds close to 20,000. The mainstream media literally is having a field day over the low turnout after the Trump campaign had touted over 1 million ticket requests and said that supporters were lining up for days at the chance to attend the rally. Campaign manager Brad Parscale released a statement in response to the disappointing turnout, reading partially, quote, "The fact is that a week's worth of fake news media warning people away from the rally because of COVID and protesters, coupled with recent images of American cities on fire, had a real impact on people bringing their families and children to the rally." The campaign also claims that protesters blocked entrances to the venue, which prevented people from getting in. So is all this troubling for President Trump? Joining us is Congressman Lee Zeldin of New York, who traveled with the president down to that rally in Tulsa. Congressman, welcome back to the show.
Always good to be with you both. Thank you.
All right. Look, I seem to have a little bit of expertise in the crowd sizes, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm known for. What concerns me, though, Congressman, is that they kind of pump this all up, and then the media focused all about this crowd as opposed to the president's message. And I'm kind of wondering, like, how did they not see this coming? And was this a mistake to focus on the people coming and the size versus the message? Because now that's gotten lost.
Well, first off, to be clear, if this was a Joe Biden rally, there would have been far fewer people in attendance. You basically had a great energy, an excellent crowd of people who, as you pointed out, and others have pointed out, and they were camped out there since Wednesday. Interesting dynamic. If you are considering a 7-hour round trip, you might have requested a ticket. And because of all the news coverage, you might think that if you drive down, you might be, number 300,000 in line to try to get into the arena. You might choose to just watch at home. There are multiple factors with regards to what had impacted attendance. Attendance was still great. And what's most important is that the president's speech got to a lot of really important issues substantively that are most important to voters, not just in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but all across the country. And the media really doesn't want to talk about all that.
I get it. I mean, it's funny. One of the things that the campaign said is, hey, some of these protesters were blocking people. And it was amazing how many newscasts said that there was no evidence of that. And yet a photographer from AFP had a photo that went out that showed just that. And it was amazing to me that you actually had a member of the press put this out there showing the entrance being blocked. And yet the mainstream media kept trying to deny that that was even a potential issue with people getting in.
Yeah, and so you pointed out you could actually provide the photographic evidence, and for some people they still just won't cover it. The reality was that the media was going to be criticizing crowd size no matter what the crowd size was going to be. So before the rally started, they were complaining that there was going to be too many people there. And then they decided to complain that there wasn't enough people there. There's no, you can ask them in advance, like, what would be the perfect amount? And the fact is, if they were to be honest with you, they'll complain regardless of what the turnout ends up being. And again, they don't want to talk about the substantive message, where this president is seeing an economy that's quickly rebounding. He'll talk about national security wins like completely eliminating the ISIS caliphate or killing Qasem Soleimani or Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. So they don't want to talk about all of that because the contrast hurts. And again, they also don't want to talk about the reality that Joe Biden is literally stuck in his basement. They want to criticize President Trump for getting out there to be with the American public as November gets closer. They want to shame the president for getting out into the open, really, because they want to provide cover for their guy who's hiding in the basement. And by the way, they also don't want to ask the question, if Joe Biden was elected president, then who's going to be the president? Because it's not going to be Joe Biden. And it's all a distraction to try to take down Donald Trump. And they're not going to give a fair shake. I mean, the president's discussed it. We all know it. They're all in. It's a war against Donald Trump.
We don't have a lot of time left, but the media has also reported that Trump was very upset after the rally. But you were on Air Force One with him back to D.C. What was the mood?
So in my multiple conversations with the president on the ride back, that wasn't expressed once. We never discussed that at all. The president was in a great mood. And it's just amazing how the conspiracy theorists, they love to run wild. They probably started to write that story before the president had even boarded Air Force One. But he was in a good mood for my conversations with him.
You know, it's funny. I do have to tell you right now in advance that I'm stealing your line about if you elect Biden, then who's going to be president? Because I think that may go down as a classic that we have to use throughout the summer.
We're actually owed an answer to it.
Well, it's a good point. I mean, and they clearly are doing the hide strategy where they put him in the basement, do limited interviews so that no one can actually interact with the guy.
Yeah, strong candidate. And the handlers who are going to keep him buried in the basement, they're the ones who owe us the answer because, Joe Biden hasn't had a press conference in a really long time to answer these questions.
80 plus days. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, now would be a great time for him to come out. He should be excited about having debates. He should be scheduling rallies himself. Let's see him get out there and try to give a speech for 2 hours.
Yeah, I tell you, I think the most brilliant move that the Trump campaign made a couple days ago was to challenge him to another series of debates because I'm right. I don't know that he can actually stand with the guy with Trump on stage for that long and deal with it. But anyway, Congressman, thank you for sharing your insight with that, what actually happened down there and what happened on the plane ride home, because I know the reporting says quite the contrary.
Inconvenient truths, but it's always great to be on with you to discuss it.
All right. Well, thank you once again. All right. Well, the Trump campaign says the media had a big hand to play in that low turnout at the Tulsa rally. Coming up, the Media Research Center's Rich Noyes joins us with proof. Absolutely proof. You are not going to want to miss these charts that show how the liberal media is downplaying Joe Biden's controversies, gaffes, while scrutinizing the president. Don't go away.